Hi everyone! If you speak more than one language, you probably know the struggle of wanting to say something or express something that you can't say in one language, but you have the perfect word for it in a different language. It's so frustrating when you just can't say something well enough because the language doesn't have the right words to say it. I'll often find myself explaining a Norwegian word to people here who aren't Norwegian, and a lot of the time people wish that their language had that word. I'm gonna give you 10 Norwegian words that English needs. I mean, at least I think so, but... The first one is pålegg, and I am so shook that English doesn't have this. Pålegg is a collective word for anything and everything you put on your bread. It includes everything from spreads to jam to cold cuts to cheese. It covers everything, and I am so surprised that English doesn't have this word. It feels like you need it, you know? Like, 'cause it's a whole category of food. The second word is døgn. This word means a 24-hour period, so a full day and a night. It's not like there aren't things you can say instead of this, but it's just weird that you don't have a word for this, which, I mean, if you say 14 days, you probably mean 14 døgn, but it's just so, like, strange that you have to specify that it's a 24-hour period, or it's just days, or it's just nights, or it's just, you know, the day or the night. I don't know. It's just handy to have a word that covers the full 24-hour period. It covers both day and night, so you always know what you're talking about, if that makes sense. The third word is ildsjæl, and it literally means FireSoul, which explains the word really well because it means a person who's extremely passionate about something. So they dedicate a lot of their time to this cause or whatever it is, which could be voluntary work or, you know, the environment or politics or, you know, all of these kind of like things or topics or whatever that you could be interested in. This is for people who are, you know, 10 steps above just interested. Like, they're really trying to make a difference within their field, if that makes sense. And I wish English had this word, because how cool. Like, you're a fire soul. That's a pretty cool thing to be, okay? The fourth word is koselig, and also kose seg, because it can be a verb and a, like, adjective, if that makes sense. It's similar to hygge, which has become very well known during the last few years, because it covers so much more than just something, you know, being nice. You can't express it without the real word, because saying that something is nice or something is cozy doesn't cover how it really makes you feel. Yeah, you can say that you have a cozy fire in your log cabin, but saying that it's koselig, it just has a lot more weight to it. Then you really mean that this is the good stuff. It just covers the whole thing, the whole feeling of it being cozy and being nice and being wonderful. And the verb that it is, which is kose, means that you're doing the activity, but it's not specific to anything, because, you know, people can enjoy themselves doing any kind of thing. So some people would kose when they're hiking. For some people it would be, I don't know, like fishing, and for some people it would be laying in bed with your partner watching a TV series, and for other people it would be eating chocolate cake. You know, it just covers everything. Just saying that you're enjoying yourself isn't enough. And if you just say, like, I'm gonna enjoy myself this weekend, I feel like it just sounds weird. The next one is a big one, which is jeg glad i deg. This is a way to say that I love you, but it's the way you would say I love you to your family or your friends, or not your romantic partner. It's really annoying that you can only say I love you, because when you first start dating someone, it feels a bit much to be like, I love you. You don't want to sound all crazy, you know? Whenever I've dated someone who doesn't speak Norwegian, I always find myself teaching them how to say jeg glad i deg, so that I can tell them that I care about them, but I don't want to sound crazy. It feels weird because I love yous get thrown around like nothing. Like, I'll say I love you to my friends that I don't love romantically, but I still care about very much. But I'm not gonna text the person I'm dating and be like, good night, I care about you. But I know a lot of people have talked about how English is kind of deprived of having more variety around the word and the verb and everything around love, because it's kind of limited. The next word exists, but not to the extent that I needed to exist. It's tur, which literally translated means trip, but it means way more than just a trip, like going on a trip. Going on a trip. So you would use that about going on a walk. You can say a mountain trip, you can say a plane trip, a car trip, whatever. You can literally use the word about everything, about like a vacation and about a shopping trip or a town trip. Everything works with this word. If someone would ask you if you want to go on a trip, it would most likely be like going out on a Sunday, making a campfire in the woods and like roasting whatever you want to roast and like chilling around, drinking hot chocolate or whatever. And, you know, the word just covers so much more than what going on a walk or going on a hike. This is one that has slipped out of my mind in English conversations a lot, and it's you. In English, you have yes and no. In Norwegian, you have yes, no, and you. In English, if someone was going like, no, and then you would go yes. But in Norwegian, you can go you, which is stronger because it means like really yes, but it's not just like an argument word. It kind of means like really, indeed, actually. It's one of the most versatile words that we have. Now I'm like, I kind of regret including it because it's so hard to explain. One time I was going to the beach with one of my friends. This was in Florida, so my English, a lot of the time I would say something and people would misunderstand me because my phrasing of sentences was off and just the way I spoke was different. At that point, I wasn't used to how Americans speak very differently than Norwegian people. And I think it's easy for people to think that we're not as enthusiastic as we are. And I was going to the beach with my friend and we were in his car and I said something that put him off where he was like, oh, do you not want to go? And I was like, you! And he was like, what just happened? So he's like a very strong yes, but it's a yes that's a affirmative yes or whatever. Like it's a, I want to clear things up that yes, like I do want to go to the beach. Oh, this was too hard to explain. There's a reason I didn't become a teacher. This word I included mostly because it's funny. Like I think it's a cute, funny word. It's attpåklatt. This is a word for the kids that come after your like last set of kids or whatever. So there's some significant space between when you have your children. So for me, my older brothers are 12 and 15 years older than me. So technically I'm an attpåklatt, but it's mostly used when the people have the same parents, which me and my brothers do not. But I'm also a twin, so it doesn't feel as much as an attpåklatt because I'm not the only one, if that makes sense. Attpåklatt literally means a blob or a dash on top. And it's just so funny to like talk about kids that way because it's very normal to use. Like this is not a bad word to use by any means. Like it's not offensive. I mean, I've heard people call their younger siblings proof that their parents were still sexually active. And I think I would prefer calling them attpåklatt. The next word is uting. It literally means unthing. It's not a thing, it's an unthing. It's kind of like funny because it's a funny composition of a word, but it's also a word that I do miss sometimes because I wish I could say that something is an unthing. Saying that means that it's something that shouldn't be done or it shouldn't be a thing, like oh wow, literally. You could say like, it's an unthing how politicians don't prioritize school meals for kids. It's an unthing how people are inconsiderate of others, or some people, you know, litter. It's something that you don't like, and if this certain thing didn't exist, it would just be a better world for most people. The last one on my list, I saved it for last because I've spoken about it multiple times, so I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but this is a word that I just really wish existed in English. It's Chadista. So Chadista is a gender-neutral word for your boyfriend or your girlfriend. We don't have words for boyfriend or girlfriend in Norwegian. We literally have Chadista, which covers both of them. It's literally your significant other, but without the formality that saying significant other or saying partner holds. If you watch my videos for a while, you'll probably notice that I usually use the word partner because I just don't like that everything needs to be gendered, and I'm trying to move away from using words that are gendered. And also, just because saying boyfriend or girlfriend just makes me feel like I am 15. It just feels so childish to me, but that's obviously my personal opinion because I've never been used to saying these words. Obviously, say whatever word works for you. It doesn't matter. Oh, there's a squirrel. Hello, friend. The friend left. I'm really lucky that my language has neutral words because it's a lot easier to be considerate. It also makes it easier because every single time you tell someone that you have a partner, you don't have to also like come out. Because if you don't feel safe or comfortable enough to say that you have a same-sex partner, then you can say that you have a Chadista. You don't have to disclose their gender. So I just think it's a way more like relaxed kind of word to use. And the word also means dearest. It's your most precious one, which it's really cute. Like that's really cute. Okay, hella cute. That was it. I managed to talk quite a bit about 10 words, so we're definitely gonna cut it here. Let me know which word was your favorite or what word you think would be beneficial if English had it. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next Friday with a new video. Keep the good vibes. Bye!